Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on something that's absolutely crucial for your financial survival. We're talking about the hidden systems, those everyday traps that are quietly but relentlessly draining your wealth. I like to call them the invisible leashes of modern finance. These are the subtle choices and giant systems specifically designed to keep you stuck exactly where you are right now.
Let me ask you a really blunt question. You're making more money now than you ever have, so why on earth are you still broke? It's a painful reality, isn't it? You get the raise, you finally land that new job, you do everything quote-unquote right, and yet you're still living paycheck to paycheck. The math just doesn't seem to add up. Well, today, we're going to make it add up. To break these leashes, we've got to look at 5 specific areas. 1. The trap of earning more. 2. The debt and ownership illusion. 3. The true price of convenience. 4. Buying feelings and status. And 5. The staggering cost of waiting.
Let's dive right into part 1, the trap of earning more. This is arguably the most deceptive illusion of them all.
We call this lifestyle creep. You know the drill. You make more money, but somehow, almost magically, you're still broke at the end of the month. Your brain jumps in and tells you, hey, you worked hard, you earned this raise, you deserve a reward. So you get a nicer apartment, you upgrade to the fastest internet. Maybe you hit up those nice restaurants a little more often. And you know what? Each upgrade feels totally justified in the moment. But here's the harsh reality. Your lifestyle just expanded to swallow up every single extra dollar. You aren't actually saving more, you're just spending more to feel the exact same way. The absolute key here is that true financial freedom lives entirely in the gap between what you earn and what you spend. Lifestyle creep completely wipes that gap out.
And once that gap is gone, you fall straight into the next trap, the side hustle. The pitch sounds amazing, right? Drive for a delivery app, do some weekend freelancing, and earning that extra cash will finally fix your broken budget. But in reality, that side income is just covering up your overspending. You're basically putting a Band-Aid on a symptom while the actual disease just grows untouched. Using a second job to avoid cutting your expenses is literally like running on a treadmill to try and outrun your own shadow. You're just going to inflate your lifestyle even further, burn yourself out entirely, and never actually get ahead.
Which brings us to our second big theme, the debt and ownership illusion. This is exactly where systemic math traps hide out inside your largest purchases. Enter the car payment treadmill. The expectation here is you trade in your current car and upgrade to something better, all for a lower monthly payment. Sounds like an absolute win, doesn't it? But here is the massive catch. Your old loan doesn't vanish, it just gets rolled right into the new one. The payment only drops because the dealership stretched your loan from 5 years out to 7. Sure, you're paying a little less each month, but you are paying for so much longer, and the total cost absolutely explodes. Every single time you trade in, you restart that clock. Eventually, you end up upside down, meaning you owe way more than the car is actually worth. You might think you're upgrading, but you're really just renting with a bunch of extra steps and honestly, terrible terms.
And we see the exact same illusion in real estate with the maximum house trap. The bank runs your numbers and approves you for the absolute maximum amount possible, which, let's be honest, feels like a permission slip to spend it all. But listen, the bank only calculated your mortgage payment. They didn't calculate the actual life that comes with it. They don't factor in those unexpected property taxes, or skyrocketing homeowners insurance, or the fact that your AC unit is practically guaranteed to die in the middle of a blazing July. When your mortgage is eating up half of your take-home pay, every single broken appliance turns into a massive financial crisis, because there is literally zero budget left for life. No savings buffer, no vacations, nothing.
It really boils down to this. You wanted a home, but what you actually got was a beautiful financial prison. The walls might be incredibly nice, but you can't leave, you can't breathe, and you can't build any sort of life beyond simply maintaining that physical structure. The bank made a hefty profit from issuing the biggest loan possible, but you are the one who has to live inside the consequences of that decision for the next 30 years.
All right, moving on to Section 3, the price of convenience. Let's look at how those tiny, invisible, daily leaks are quietly draining your bank accounts dry.
$6,000. That is the upper end of what you're likely losing every single year to invisible conveniences. Think about it. You're exhausted after work, so you order dinner on an app. That's a $7 delivery fee, a $4 service charge, plus a tip. You just paid 15 extra bucks just to avoid turning on the stove. Throw in those $15 streaming subscriptions you totally forgot about, the express shipping fees, the premium app upgrades. Each one of these costs almost nothing on its own, but together, they cost everything. You are bleeding $4,000 to $6,000 a year.
That is money that could have wiped out your debt or supercharged your savings. You aren't just buying comfort, you're renting it forever at a fiercely compounding cost. And this ties right into how credit card companies literally weaponize math against you. It's the minimum payment illusion. Let's say you have a $3,000 debt, and the minimum payment is only $60 a month. That feels completely manageable and harmless, right? Well, most of that $60 is going straight to interest. At that rate, compound interest is just running quietly in the background, and it will take you over 12 years to pay off. You'll end up paying $6,000 in total. That's double the original amount. Credit card companies design these minimum payments specifically to keep you on the hook, paying them forever.
This brings us to Section 4, Buying Feelings and Status. It's time to unpack the emotional and psychological traps that trick us into spending money we definitely don't have.
We often joke about retail therapy, but it's rarely a cure. It's actually a vicious, compounding cycle. Step 1, you have a terrible day at work or life's just stressing you out. Step 2, you buy something nice to get a quick hit of dopamine. And it works, right? You feel in control for about an hour. But then comes Step 3. The dopamine wears off, and you're left with this heavy guilt and anxiety over the brand new credit card balance you just created. So what does your brain suggest? Step 4. Buy something else to cope with the guilt. You're literally spending money you don't have to feel better about spending money you didn't have. The debt itself morphs into the exact source of stress you were shopping to escape in the first place.
And that kind of emotional spending feeds right into the pressure of keeping up appearances. Your coworker buys a flashy new watch, your friend posts pictures from a 2-week European vacation, and suddenly you feel this overwhelming need to finance a designer image just to signal your own success. But I'm going to let you in on a massive secret. Nobody is actually keeping score. They are way too busy financing their own fake appearance to even notice yours. That coworker with the watch? Drowning in monthly payments. The friend in Europe? Probably maxed out 3 different cards for that trip. Everyone is out here faking it, assuming everyone else is real. You are essentially buying approval from strangers using money you'll spend the next 20 years paying back.
Which perfectly exposes the brand loyalty tax. You pay $6 for name brand cereal while the generic is $3. You drop $150 on designer jeans when nearly identical unbranded denim is $30. Blind tests consistently prove that generic products are physically and often legally identical to the big names. I mean, the active chemicals in premium cleaning products are exactly the same as the generic bottle sitting right next to it on the shelf. So what are you actually paying for? The marketing, the logo, the vague feeling of status. You are literally funding the very advertising machine that manipulates you, and it's costing you tens of thousands of dollars over your lifetime, all for a story someone sold you.
I really want you to remember this. The appearance of success costs actual success. Every single dollar you spend funding a fake, polished image is a dollar you can never ever use to build real, lasting wealth behind the scenes.
And that brings us to our 5th and final theme, the cost of waiting. Let's look at how mismanaging your time will absolutely destroy your financial future.
$400. This tiny number represents what I call the emergency-free delusion. Financial experts scream from the rooftops to keep 3 to 6 months of expenses saved up. But the reality? Most people have less than $400 in the bank. You might be living perfectly budgeted, paycheck to paycheck, just assuming the car will keep running and the water heater will hold out another year. But emergencies aren't rare. They are guaranteed. And when that transmission finally fails, what should have been a minor inconvenience becomes a full-blown crisis funded by a high-interest credit card. Living without a savings buffer leaves you exactly one broken appliance away from total financial collapse.
And speaking of financial protection, let's take a quick minute to deconstruct the whole life insurance scam. The pitch is incredibly compelling. It protects your family while acting like a safe investment. But if you follow where your money actually goes, it's a different story entirely. A huge chunk of your premium goes straight into the agent's pocket as commissions and fees. Then comes the actual cost of the insurance itself. Whatever tiny sliver is left over finally goes into a cash value account that grows at a painfully slow 2 to 3% a year. It is practically a wealth transfer right out of your pocket and into the salesperson's. Honestly, you'd be far better off just buying a cheap term life insurance policy and investing the difference yourself.
But you've got to start investing that difference immediately. Why? Because of the merciless math of the retirement delay. Let's say you put in $200 a month starting at age 25. By the time you're 65, you've got over $500,000 sitting there. But if you wait until things quote-unquote settle down and you start at age 40 with that exact same $200 a month, you barely break $200,000. It is the exact same amount of monthly effort, but a vastly different outcome. Why? Because compound interest works through time, not effort.
The absolutely crucial number you need to remember here is 30. If you wait just 10 years, say from age 25 to 35 to start saving, you aren't just starting 10 years late. You are permanently losing 30 years of compound growth on those initial contributions forever. Think about that. There is absolutely no perfect time to start. There is only compounding time, and every single day you delay, you are just burning it.
So this brings us to our final thought for today. I want you to ask yourself honestly, are you building actual generational wealth, or are you just managing the monthly payments for your invisible leashes? The entire matrix of modern finance is designed from the ground up to keep you renting your life, one single payment at a time. It's entirely up to you to recognize the trap, cut those leashes, and finally break free.